Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, we are from group 6. Here we want to describe the result of our review about the article Storytelling in Second Language Classroom. But before we go to the explanation, let me introduce you to the group member. There are me, Deviana Halidazia, as the first presenter, Luthfia Khofifah as the second presenter, Meylla Yuni Fahirra as the third presenter, Ita Nurul Fitria as the fourth presenter, and Novita Siti Sabani as the last presenter. So here are what we're going to convey it. In this presentation, there are introduction, summary, critique, and last is conclusion. Alright, the first is introduction, will be delivered by me, Deviana Halidazia, with the NPM 1921222126. Alright, the author of this article, Storytelling in the Second Language Classroom, was Jill Pennington, with the aim of the study is to examine the role stories play in helping us to identify ourselves as cultural beings. And it also describes how his identity relates to those learning an additional language in a new setting. While the main finding of the study is that the value of story as a vehicle for second language development has been confirmed. So move to the next slide. The structure. The structure of this article has arranged systematically because it contains of the history, expert saying, the previous study about using story in the classroom, the methodology, the project activities, the result, and also conclusion. While the method of this study is qualitative method, which collaborates 20 participants from different ages and level or capabilities. For the more explanation will be delivered by the next presenter, Luthfia Khofifah. The time is yours.
Thank you, Deviana, for the presentation. Now I'm going to continue the presentation about the summary. Hello, everyone. My name is Luthfia Khofifah, and my student's number is 192122139. Stories serve us with chance to understand the reality and to understand the other world better. Other world here means like our imagination or something that we never know before we read the story. Furthermore, culture manifests the knowledge and behaviors which a certain group shares and passes from one generation to the next generation, and the narratives play the main role within the language of a culture. In daily basis, people also communicate through culture. People come together socially as stories are exchanged on the form of anecdotes, gossip, or personal narratives. It is important to make the second or foreign language learner familiar with the narratives from their home culture. For example, from Indonesia, our home culture, it can be Malin Kundang or any other stories, and for their cognitive and emotional growth. So if we already familiar with the story, that means we already have some connection with the story, and we will attach more to the story. But the students also need to be familiar with the narratives from the target language. In the, for example, in English, maybe there is The Ugly Duckling and other stories. Thus, they can understand the language features and the culture of the target language. So it needs to be balanced between the target language and the home culture. All right, that's all from me. Thank you very much. Next presentation will be delivered by Meylla Yuni Fahirra.
Alright, so let's continue the presentation. I am Meylla Yuni Fahirra. My student's number is 192122136. So there are the focus areas in the study. The first is cognitive growth, the development of relationship between events, objects, and actions. So the first story was The Innermost Turnip, which provides opportunities to learn about growth and change, as well as creative method of problem solving. The story, which was originally written for a Russian audience, includes a root vegetable that the majority of the children are unfamiliar with. However, the student response, as you can see at the figure 1, was mediated by pictures rather than words, because He is a pre-literate kindergarten student, but his work demonstrates a clear understanding of sequencing anyways. And the second is empathic intelligence, an understanding of how other people think, feel, and do. The enormous turnip is about more than just change and growth. It also encompasses a wide range of emotion ranging from anticipation to frustration to satisfaction. So from the story, along with learning new vocabulary which is reinforced by repetition, they may have developed some awareness of how it might feel to be frustrated but not to give up. And it is a valuable insight for newcomers to a different language. And the third is finding a voice, turning experience into narrative. The Mr. Grumpy's outing story, as we can see at the figure 3, it can encourage young learners to express their personal feelings and emotions in the target language as they asked to practice making a request in English. See at the picture, he wrote simple sentence which is making request in English. Well, that's all from me. It will be continued by Ita. Ita, please.
Alright, thank you. My name is Ita Nurul Fitria. My student's number is 192122119. So I will continue the presentation about condition for second language development. The planned scaffolding like mime and gestures and the use of realia and visual aids supported to transform the narrative into question comprehensible input. So here is the picture made by Nam. Nam draws volcanoes erupting fire along with a figure with fire coming out of his mouth, both of which propose an understanding of concept connecting to Lima's red hot chili. While he can dictate hot chili and fire, he didn't have the vocabulary for volcano. This was delivered by the teacher after a conversation about mountains exploding with fire. So in this situation, the interaction and the scaffolding that happened within it provided Nam with an opportunity to increase his linguistic resources and his understanding of volcanoes, so that such effective interaction can be the result of this intersubjectivity implicit in storytelling. Then connecting with text. Young second language learners need to become familiar with the style of narrative from the target language. And here are the Western narrative structure or features of the story. The first one is orientation. For example, the turnip was planted in the garden. Then the second is complication. For example, proof difficult to pull up. And the last, a resolution of events. For example, but was finally dislodged and cooked for supper. So we can know the learner's understanding of the structure through the sequence in the children's retelling through oral, drawn, or written. Next, the effective filter in stories. According to Krashen 1982, the effective filter as an imaginary barrier which prevents learners from acquiring language from the available input. Then connecting storytelling with a low effective filter. As Dufisi 2005 notes, teachers and learners have co-constructed ways of doing and thinking that allow for a greater symmetry of contribution. So it means that the student engagement in learning and all contribute, including teacher and students, can build a positive classroom climate. Then, in the context of effective filter in stories, Alisa Nuri 2003, in her study of children's literature, recognizes that a large proportion of the stories are about animals. This is especially true of books for small children. So, the appeal of animal stories with this group of second language learners and their contribution to reducing the effective filter. So, I think that's all from me. Thank you very much. The next material will be presented by Linda Novita Siti Nur Sabani.
Alright, Ita, thank you for the time. Hello everyone, my name is Linda Novita Siti Nur Sabani. My student's number is 192122137. And now I'm going to continue the presentation. It's about the critics. So the first is the study didn't show the detail of 6 focus areas from the conceptual framework that has been achieved by each participant, the 20 students, and only showed a few students' achievements which could be representatives of the rest. But still, it could be more credible and perfect if each achievement of the student is revealed. However, the article was already well written and contained of things that can help the readers to understand better about the role of storytelling in the English as second language classroom. And this study shows that the readers that story can be a vehicle for second language development, as the learners could learn about the cognitive, emotional, and linguistic development through it. And then the author provides many expert sayings, thus the article is credible enough for readers' reference. And now let's move to the conclusion. The article has been arranged orderly, thus the readers can understand the content easier, including the detailed explanation of each step of the project. And the overall content was already well delivered, despite some shortcomings that I already mentioned in the critics part. Alright, that's all from group 6. Thank you so much for your attention, and sorry for the mistakes we made. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.